Hi everyone! Today's webinar is going to talk about scholarships for study abroad. We're going to go over different types of scholarships, key recommendations on how to apply for them, and just in general how to look for them and how to get help when you are applying for them. So that's a big question that we get in our office. So first of all, there's many types of scholarships you can apply for. We have one of the websites over here, our UCLA Study Abroad Scholarships page. So if you go to the UCLA Study Abroad page, which is ieo.ucla.edu, and go to Finances and Scholarships, it'll take you here. So within all these drop-downs, you'll find different things. Some of them are merit-based, some are need-based. There are more need-based scholarships than merit-based ones, just to be aware of that. There are ones for specific countries that you're studying in. There's ones that are based on your background. There's a whole different range of different things available. And so scholarships really are an excellent, excellent way to chip away at the cost of study abroad. But we do want to be open that there are very few scholarships that are going to cover the entire cost of a study abroad program, and many of them are very competitive. So just to keep that in mind when you are applying, and while we do try to align the scholarship deadlines for ones that our office manages, so UCLA ones or ones listed in these, there are outside scholarships that may not be aware of deadlines for your program or withdrawal dates, and you may not be able to know if you're going to get a certain scholarship before you have to decide on a program. So do keep that in mind if that is a deciding factor for you. But we really do want to encourage all students to apply to as many scholarships as they are eligible, because like I said, it really is an excellent way to help pay for the cost of study abroad. But always do remember there is FAFSA-based financial aid available to you. You can always speak with the UCLA Financial Aid Office about that. Those offices' information can be found in the Travel Study Financial Aid or UCAP Financial Aid sections up here. So let's get started. We'll jump over here for our scholarships page. So first of all, like we kind of mentioned, there are a number of different scholarship opportunities. This kind of highlights some of them here. Things through UCLA, things through UCAP if you're doing a UCAP program, UCLA Summer Travel Study, and overall national external scholarships. Certain things to consider when you are looking at scholarships is kind of what is the scholarship focusing on. We're going to get into that for a little bit, but the first thing I want to mention, we'll go down here, is apply. So like I started saying, there are so many different types of scholarships available out there, and you're not going to get any of them if you don't apply for them. So do research them and apply to the ones you are eligible for. So one thing we get asked a lot is, what are due dates and when am I supposed to be doing this? So we'll get a look when we look on the IEO scholarship page under, for instance, travel study scholarships. So these are summer programs where you go abroad with the UCLA professor. And you can see summer deadlines, and it's similar for fall deadlines as well, tend to be the beginning of the year. So right now we're in February 2019, and a lot of the deadlines are coming up for summer 2019. The UCAP scholarships down here, very, very similar deadlines. For spring and winter programs, deadlines tend to be in about the summer, probably end of summer or beginning of fall even for those programs. But sometimes they may, potentially, especially for outside scholarships, they may align to these dates as well. So do be aware that they can be quite early. But generally, you should be applying around the same time that your program application is due. And you definitely want to apply even if you haven't heard back from your program yet. So you should have picked a program, because oftentimes you do have to talk about the specific program you're applying to. But you don't want to wait until you've heard back, because, for instance, some of these scholarships, like I saw up here, the deadline may be February 15th, and you may not know about your program until well after that. Worst case scenario, you get the scholarship. If you didn't get nominated to the program, you would simply just deny the scholarship. But you definitely can't apply if it's too late. So once you know when a scholarship is due, what are you supposed to write for it? And we're going to jump back to our Prezi over here, because it gives us some good advice on kind of the tips that you're going for. So answering the prompt. I know it sounds a little obvious, but sometimes we get people that don't always answer the prompts when we're reading them. So really look at what is the exact question that it's answering, or sorry, that it's asking you to answer. Obviously, make sure your application is well written and grammatically correct, and really think about how you can answer, whether they're asking, how does this program relate to your academic goals? Think about what those academic goals are. How does this program relate to your future career goals? Talk about what you want to do and why this program specifically ties into that. And then finally, we'll probably mention this a bunch of times. There is a wonderful place up on the hill, Cobalt Commons, the Scholarship Resource Center. I'm going to highlight their website over here. They are really great. It's just scholarshipcenter.ucla.edu. They can help you out with any scholarship help that you need. And at the bottom, they have their contact information and location. The other location that I realized that we don't have up here is the UCLA Writing Center. I'm going to actually search for it right here, UCLA Writing Center. So the Undergraduate Writing Center is also another place to go to get help with your writing. And again, I'll probably highlight those again. So next point that we have is when you are writing your scholarships, oftentimes they're going to ask really similar things. So if you create an outline and a template for a prompt, it can really help you get through these scholarship applications a little bit faster next time, depending on what they are. So they may not always, fully overlap with each other, but if you can kind of really break down what they're asking for you and to create an outline for yourself, it's going to help you be organized, but it's also going to possibly help you going forward if you're applying to a similar scholarship that is asking for very, very similar information, and then you can adjust it as needed. But remember, always really look at the prompt so that it's you're answering the question that they are asking you. Other sections is reviewing the scholarship's purpose. So sometimes you may actually see, okay, this scholarship is really looking for students who are, trying to get their first experience abroad. So if you see that that's something that they're really hoping you focus on, talk about that in your essay, talk about that in your short answers. Connect your story to your goals. Really look at how your background looks with your future and how does this study abroad program help you get there. And one thing, try to avoid cliches and talking specifically about travel. Remember, this is a study abroad program, not a travel program. We all absolutely love traveling. However, we do want to know about why you're choosing this academic abroad program, not just going on a trip with your friends or anything like that. I think there's one more answer here. Oh, no, that was it. Sorry about that. So like I mentioned before, I think two of the most helpful resources on campus, because sometimes students come to our office and say, can you help us review scholarships? Unfortunately, we don't necessarily have the capacity to do that, but the Scholarship Resource Center, again, in Cobalt Commons, as well as the Undergraduate Writing Center, are really, really excellent locations to do that. They have different locations and hours on their website, so you can look at that right there. But they're really the ones that'll help you actually review your essays and talk to you about, whether it's well written or how to make it better written or anything like that. So I want to mention a few specific scholarships. This is one of them, but I'm actually going to start over here. So as you may know, we have two types of study abroad. We have our summer travel study programs and our UCAP programs. As you can see on the UCLA scholarships page, some of them may be offered for both, and they'll be listed in here. But some are program specific, so make sure you're clicking on the right drop down for your program. So under UCAP, we have our UCLA our UCAP scholarships, and these are actually completed and housed on the UCEAP website. They're issued by the UCAP system-wide office, so that's why it takes us over here. You'll see there's a number of them. The one that we're going to talk about is the Promise Awards, because it is the kind of most generous and biggest scholarship of all of these as far as the number of people that get them. I believe it's 1 in 3 or 1 in 4 students that get the scholarship. That's at least how it has been in the past. You would get $1,000 for summer or $2,000 for a program during the school year. And like it says, over 500 awards are given to students throughout the UC system. You can click on here and it will tell you a lot of really good information when the applications open and close. Like we talked about earlier, summer deadlines February 15th, beginning of the year, fall deadlines a little bit later in March 15th, but also the start of the year before the term that you go. Really, it goes into who's eligible and how to apply. Almost any student is eligible. Actually, any student is eligible for this one. Sorry about that. Any UCP student is eligible for this scholarship. It is based on a number of different criteria. It's largely based on merit, academic merit, as it says, but it also does take into account your financial need or students who are traditionally underrepresented. So definitely make sure to highlight things that they are mentioning in here, because it could help your chances of getting this scholarship. You apply for the scholarship within your My EAP application. Once you're in there, once you're moved along in the process, you'll see a link on the left-hand side for scholarships, and it will allow you to move forward in the application. It's pretty straightforward, and they give you some advice on your statement of purpose, some application tips, and they also link down to our Writing Center down here if you do need help with the program at all. But I would definitely recommend applying to this one if you are a UCAP student, just because it is a really great scholarship, and it's a highly awarded scholarship compared to a lot of others. If you are doing a summer travel study program, probably the scholarship you have heard of is very not necessarily creative name, but our UCLA Travel Studies Scholarship. This is our most generous scholarship. I don't see many like this. It covers the entire program fee. So this wouldn't cover personal additional expenses, but it will cover the program fee portion of your program, regardless of what that is. So because of that, do be aware this is a very competitive scholarship. I believe for 2019, we were going to have about 12 winners, or that's how it was in previous years. Typically, we try and pick a different student from different programs, so we do get a bunch of different perspectives. And we often receive between 100 and 200 applications for the scholarship. So while it is very competitive, there are students that will win it. We do definitely want you to apply, but do spend a lot of time on it because it is competitive. So what is the scholarship? Because it gives you so much, we do expect a good amount from the students in return. So there's two parts. So during the summer, students will create content while they're abroad. We estimate this is going to take about 20 hours, and in their scholarship application, they're going to identify two of the following ways of creating that content to document their experience while abroad. And really, this is to show future students what your program is like while you're abroad. What is, how are you going to help someone who's really like yourself, if you haven't gone abroad yet, to see what it's like to be on this program and every day-to-day there, and what are the academics like and the professors, and what's the culture like where you are. How can it help them decide whether they want to do this program or not, or know what to expect? The next phase is when you come back on campus. So for the following school year, with fall, winter, spring, obviously, you will work with our office in a number of different ways. So working with us on events, things like the Study Abroad Fair or Bruin Day, or different events on campus to promote study abroad. There'll be kind of more day-to-day things like peer advising or tabling, speaking at information sessions, even just helping out around the office or doing classroom announcements. This spans the entire rest of the school year after your study abroad program. So once you get back, you continue promoting study abroad at UCLA to your peers, and now you're able to really speak about your program since you've completed the program as already. So how do we choose the students? There's a number of different criteria, so make sure you understand everything that is involved with this scholarship. The eligibility basically is that you are a continuing UCLA undergraduate student, and you are going to be here during at least fall of the following year, although most students are here for the remainder of the year. We will consider students as long as they're here for fall. Applications typically open mid-January and close mid-February, and then certain students are brought in for interviews as finalists. And really, we are looking at your application, we're looking at your portfolio. So we're going to have you answer kind of a number of different questions. Be aware, if you are waitlisted for a program rather than registered for it, you'll just have to email us so we can get you those questions. And then you're going to provide a portfolio or supplemental information. So really a sample of what we can expect from your work. So providing social media, digital, documentation of things, whether that's travel writing or a website you've made or a blog, videos, anything like that. If you haven't done this before, that's totally fine. Something I recommend to students a lot is creating a sample website, create a sample vlog of what it's like to a day in the life at UCLA, or what it's like in your hometown, and kind of use that as a way a way to show us how you would do the same thing when you're abroad on your program, because that can give us a good idea of what you can offer us. This scholarship is entirely merit-based. It is entirely based upon this. And then finally, an interview that we do with the finalists. So really spending a lot of time and really thinking about what you're not finding when you're looking at your program and how you would like to show future students that, I think is really the best advice I can give, because right now, if you haven't gone on your study abroad program, you're in the best place to say, you know what, I wish I knew such and such, or I wish I was able to find such and such, and trying to think of a creative way to show that. You can see what other students have done. Actually, if you go, we're going to jump over real quick, under Explore Programs at Summer Travel Study to some of the other summer travel study programs. Many of them have things from other students in the past. So I know like our Guam program, for instance, any of the ones that have information or have vlogs or blogs or anything like that at the bottom, they're going to have them linked. So you can go on and see, okay, what did this student do last summer? What's an idea that they did? But don't necessarily think you have to do something that other students have done, because we want things that are creative. We want something different, and we want something that's going to set you apart, and really just a way that is going to show that you're a reliable student that can really, explain your program in a way that others can understand. So that would be the Summer Travel Studies Scholarship. There are outside scholarships, like I mentioned. We're going to jump back here. So they are listed down here. That's honestly what the bulk of this website is, just as far as the list. Some of these are based on where you're going. Some are based on your background. The Bourne Awards, for instance, are based on certain locations and other criteria. The Gilman Scholarship down here is for students who receive a Pell Grant, among other criteria. But for these, you are going to have to just click on them and kind of see if they apply to you. You can usually tell pretty quickly, especially over here. You can kind of weed out the places you're not going to. And for those ones, if you have questions, you'll want to contact the organization directly and make sure you're applying by their deadlines and on their website through their application. There are likely other scholarships as well out there that we're not aware of. So again, I'm gonna promote the Scholarship Resource Center up on the hill. They really are a great place. You can go and see if there are other scholarships there, wherever they can help you find based on your background, based on other criteria that we may not have. And there's a lot of funding really available for study abroad. So we don't want that to be a thing that gets in the way of you going on your program. So hopefully this webinar has helped give some ideas about where to look and how to tailor your scholarship application. If you have questions, feel free to contact our office. We always have our contact page here with ways to get in touch with us, and you can reach us anytime by these ways. So hope that helps, and have a great rest of your day.